What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of On the Ropes. This is the recap of Davis versus Santa Cruz. What a devastating knockout by Davis. The left uppercut, similar to the Povetkin-Dillian White uppercut. Maybe you want to touch on that in terms of how he set that devastating blow up.
You know, that punch was incredible. Not only was the punch incredible, I think from the first bell to the knockout, it was an incredible fight from both fighters. So I have to take my hat off, take my eye patch off to both of those fighters because they really did show a lot of heart and competitiveness, and all the things we love to see in boxing today were encapsulated in that fight as far as I'm concerned. If we were to jump ahead to the knockout, yeah, that was incredible. I mean, that's what I love about boxing. When boxing is done by two guys that know what they're doing, you start to see, the technical end of it. It's not just this primitive urge to punch somebody in the face. The man actually, he slipped the punch, created an opening, and came with that left uppercut and caught him under the chin. I mean, it's just, the human body has no other alternative but to turn off. That's all there is to it. And yeah, we'd seen that in most recently.
Yeah, with Povetkin and White, very similar.
Povetkin and Dillian White, yes, and it was just it's something learned, you know what I mean? But a lot of people don't see it as instinctual. Like a lot of times with boxing, people just throw punches and you happen to catch someone at the end of it. But he really gauged. I mean, you could see him thinking in there. And the man, Santa Cruz threw the straight right hand. He dropped over to the left side, bam, touched the button, and that's it. Lights out. And this is going to be, unfortunately for Santa Cruz, this is one of those kind of knockouts that really change the trajectory of your fight life. I can't say this enough. All of a sudden, you don't become as resilient as you once were. And all of a sudden you don't have the same heart, and you don't know why, whether it's something actually physiological or or is it how people approach you? It's different. They have more confidence because they saw you get knocked out, and all of a sudden they're punching at you harder. We don't quite know what it is, but when you get knocked out like that, it's just absolutely, career changing. And it's unfortunate because this kid is strong. He's nice. He's got great heart. He's a crowd pleaser. He's a likable individual. All those good things. So I hope no matter what, he's able to come back and do what he wants to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think with Santa Cruz, much to what you said, great to see that he got up and was able to walk out, on his own will. But man, that was a devastating knockout. I mean, it wasn't like he was hurt; he was out cold. Yeah. And it was tough to watch. But I think with Santa Cruz, to give him all the credit in the world in the fight, man, he had some big balls. He walked forward and he stood toe to toe with Gervonta, and he really gave the fans what they wanted to see. And he was winning rounds. I mean, the judges, I believe, had it 3-2 Davis at the time of the knockout. Santa Cruz was able to take a couple rounds, back up Gervonta at times, which no one really has done, and he's going up in weight. So I think Santa Cruz, he deserves a lot of credit, and even though he lost in devastating fashion, he proved that he's game as ever, and he's no easy out for anyone. He just ran up against mini Tyson.
Yeah. No, Gervonta Tank Davis, he's an incredible puncher, and I know I'd kind of been slipping on him myself, or sleeping on him, I guess, more than anything. Is I didn't know he had that in him, like that kind of explosiveness. And I guess this Santa Cruz is a step up in terms of somebody he's a top fighter. He has 100% confidence in himself, and he really believes he will not lose. And
never been stopped, by the way.
Exactly. So when you're fighting that kind of guy, which he did, whether he was a little small, a little bigger, doesn't matter. They both agreed. They stepped in the ring. They settled it in the ring, and they were going. And it was a back and forth fight, and it was really competitive. And I was thinking to myself, before the round, just the round before he was knocked out, I was like, wow, Gervonta maybe better take this a different way, because this kid's going to be able to handle this for 12 rounds. I mean, that's his pace.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Gervonta can fight at that pace. And those shots that are bouncing off his head right now are going to start sinking into his head really soon, and they're going to feel different. You know, he's like, all of a sudden that bat is like, it's a cement bat all of a sudden. but what Gervonta did, he was able to take it up another notch. It's crazy because he was rolling with shots and you know, trying to catch shots, and a lot of them were hitting him. And then all of a sudden, like, you would think when he went to his corner, you would think that conversation in the corner would be, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to back up off him a little bit, give him a little bit of foot movement, take a little bit of time up. But no, either he in his own mind or his corner said to him, you have to step to this man and step it up another level, take it up another level. And that's exactly what he did. He went from here, which was extremely high level that they were fighting, and went back and jumped it up another level. And for that vision, he said, okay, I'm gonna wait for this guy he's gonna throw that right hand, and I know his head's gonna stay right there afterwards. I know, I've seen the tapes, I've seen his fights. And as soon as he let it go, whap, bam, and hit him absolutely perfectly, textbook.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of boxing, man, fisticuffs.
Yeah, and to touch on a couple things that you mentioned that I think are really important in the fight was Davis and his trainer in the past, especially his trainer has talked about when Davis was a young kid, you know, he used to call him Tank Head. That's kind of how he got his nickname, because in the gym, he'd get really kind of angry and emotional and just look for the kill. And that wouldn't serve him well. You know, he would be searching for the knockout too much. And at times, I believe in the third, fourth round, the trainer kind of started calling him that name, Tank Head, relax, kind of like sit in. And I feel like that might have been part of, you know, how he was able to get to that next level, was really kind of settle into things. You know, you saw him throw Santa Cruz down early in the fight where he was showing maybe a little frustration. So it's kind of interesting how he was able to make that mental switch, and then obviously it paid off. But when he had him up against the ropes too, I did want you to kind of dive more into that in terms of, it seemed to me he kind of had that high guard fencing almost, and luring Santa Cruz into thinking it's okay for him to, like, okay, now it's your turn. Like, it's my turn now. Santa Cruz was really throwing that right hand a little lazy, and that's what got him in trouble, right?
Well, the thing is, like, Santa Cruz is, unfortunately in boxing, it kind of works like this. The more you move your hands, the more you punch, the more you can be hit. And so there's always going to be an opening, because Santa Cruz is exactly that. He's a busy fighter. And I don't know if he's necessarily, I mean, he is a thinking fighter, but he doesn't think the way Tank does. He's a different type of thinker. Tank is like, okay, when you throw that, I'm quickly going to counter. He's not making openings, he's creating openings. He's seeing openings. He's taking openings that are given him. Whereas Santa Cruz is trying to punch through whatever he has to punch through in order to hit you. Again, he's volume. You know what I mean? So some are going to hit you on the ear, some are going to hit you on top of the head, he doesn't have the same purpose. Like Gervonta's kind of like a sniper, and then you have somebody that's more like a scatter shot. It's a different thing. Like, it's going to land, it's not going to land, it's going to land flush, it's going to land half flush. That's the difference between Santa Cruz and Tank. And that's what Tank was able to finally key in on. He had the kid his back to the ropes, so he couldn't go any further back, and he isn't the kind of guy to get to the side, and he isn't the kind of kid, Santa Cruz is not, to move his head and slip punches. It's you know, es macho, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm right there, I'm in the pocket. If you can beat me, if you're the better man, then prove it. And you know, that's what it was all about this time, unfortunately, for the kid. But you know, you got to go back in the gym, you got to put it all together again, and you got to try to recreate the machine, because he's a winner. He's a nice kid. He can't fight. He's got good hands. Now you add the element of defense there, and he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna be even more formidable. Yeah,
I think Santa Cruz, you know, I think he's got to take some time, and then, you know, like I said, I think he can be back, no doubt. But with Davis, you know, it's very interesting now. What's next for him? They didn't have any immediate call outs. Floyd Mayweather's being, you know, very particular with how he guides Tank. But that being said, he's a pay-per-view guy now. He could fight at 135 very easily. He struggles to make 130. Maybe it's Teofimo Lopez next, Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of Devin Haney, a lot of guys in the mix for Tank, and any of them are going to have their hands full, I believe.
Well, I've always liked the lightweight division for competition. Like historically, the lightweights have always been great. A lot of great pound for pound fighters in the lightweight division, and it's continuing here. I like the lightweights because they really are showing the skills that the heavier weight fighters aren't showing. You know, I like that at lightweight, at welterweight, at even like junior middleweight, getting up. The skills are phenomenal. Just that's what you love to see after a while. You know, after having competed in the game, and you see guys just go toe to toe and slug each other in the head, and it's the same old predictable thing. And you want to see somebody that's able to fight underwater, and that's, you know, what I mean by that is like, when you're in the thick of it, you have to open your eyes underwater. If you want to swim, if you really want to control where you're going, you need to open your eyes underwater. A lot of guys just close their eyes and they're just swinging and going at it and brawling. But when you have the vision, when you have fight vision, which is what Tank showed this weekend better than anybody else, when you have that fight vision, when you can actually see what your man's doing and counter him, that's when you're at that Matrix level. The Matrix at that time, boy. It's like, you know, the storm's coming at you, and you're able to open your eyes in the storm, fight and win the fight, knock a man out. I loved it.
Yeah, it was an awesome event. It was good to have some fans in the crowd in Texas and react to that knockout. It was awesome.
Yeah, the live gate too. That because that's a fighter. When you have a live gate and you hit somebody with a good shot, one of the things that you remember more than anything is that crowd lighting up. You know what I mean? It's like you could knock a man out. You could knock a man out in, like in some of the places they're doing it where there's no people at all and everything's quiet. There's no roar. And it doesn't sync with you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like scoring a knockout in the gym. Like when you're sparring, it's like, what's the big deal? There's no big deal here. But you're there and you got thousands of fans around you, and you hit him and the crowd erupts and everything. It's like, it's epic. That's epic.
It was probably, knockout of the year. I would assume it's got to be up there. But tremendous show. Davis obviously delivered with a devastating knockout. It's going to be a highlight that people are going to remember for a long time. And I'm excited for what's next for him. This was a great breakdown, Mike. I thought, you really showed some of the skill that Davis put on display last night. And hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. And make sure to stay tuned and check it out on YouTube. Peace.
Come back for more. We got a lot of more.
A lot of more.
That Clubber Lang, we got a lot of more.
Yeah, exactly. Peace, guys.